Yannis Pappas. Yeah. When you all tucked up in the day belong, and the news online going on and on, what's right and wrong, and it's something up. Now here comes a great kid you know you can trust. From the true who's who, to the news and cameras, to the fake politics and the propaganda. Get this kid screwed in, got a lot to say. Oh shit, it's about to be a long day. It's a long day, it's a long day.
Oh, like a whole new breed of tech bro.
Taking cocaine, typing
Just
1,000
tech
words
bros
per
who
minute.
fuck
What's up, bro? You Oracle or Google, bro? Yo, fuck that, bro.
on a Vespa with the open shirt.
Yeah.
That's the only place culturally that is cool.
Yeah.
Because like no black guy anywhere else is on the moped with the unbuttoned shirt, except
No.
for Miami.
Yeah,
That's
New York,
like
if you're
the
doing that,
shit.
you're running from the cops.
Yeah. Miami, you could do that, and in foreign countries you'll see it. In Greece, when you go there, they'll go no shirt.
Oh shit.
They'll go no shirt, cigarette, flip flops on a fucking
Thong flip flops too,
on a fucking scooter. Yeah, they'll be like, it's
and then curse you out when you get in their way.
and they die a lot.
Oh,
In Greece, are we rolling?
yeah, we're rolling.
Yeah, in Greece they die a lot. They go by moped or motorcycle,
Yeah.
and they get killed all the time, and they just keep doing it. That's how strong culture can be, and that's why you need to get out of your country. You need to get away from your family and think for yourself, like this young gentleman did, like I did, because otherwise you end up on a moped in flip flops with no shirt on and a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And somebody's going, hey, that's not safe. And they go, well, this is my culture. This is what Greeks do. This is how we drive. And you're like, there's a better way.
The barrier of entry is so low. Just you need enough money to get a moped, and then you're on the streets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is that, like $1 grand or
Yeah.
$2 grand?
It's probably like, I don't know what that is in euros with inflation, but back in the day when Greeks had drachmas, I think you would need 13 million drachmas.
Is it fucked
Which
over
was
there
like
right now?
$5.
Like the economy's like pretty bad.
It's always fucked. They got a shadow economy. They don't. The whole reason why there was the crash is Greeks don't want to admit it. It's like everyone loves to, Greeks were the original victimhood.
Oh yeah.
I got to say, they don't get enough credit because Greeks were the original, like, oh, it's the Jewish bankers and the Germans. It's like, no, how about it's you hiding your money and not paying your taxes? That maybe had something to do with it. Everyone wanting the benefits of socialism, but nobody wanting to pay into that system kind of inevitably, welcome to me fumbling over words.
There you go.
Which is going to be tough because I'm sitting next to a smart kid. We just started rolling. If you don't know him, what the fuck have you been doing with your life? Okay, this gentleman right here, Lance Cantstopolis, speaking of Greek, and I'm Greek and I can't even pronounce a Greek name, Fahim Anwar. Now, do you demand that people say it the right way? Because like that happens to me all the time. I'll respond to
Dude.
Eunice, Yumis, Yamis, Upis.
Yeah, if you're close enough, like
Yeah.
it's hard doing stand up and you have an unorthodox name.
Yeah.
Especially starting out, people just butcher it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like people would butcher yours all the time. I'm
Oh,
sure.
dude, especially when I started in black rooms, I'd get brought up to Yam, give it up for the white guy.
Yeah.
Give it up for Bird. I think I got brought up as Larry Bird once.
One time I didn't even get a credit. He goes, "This next guy's a terrorist." But like, I wasn't even offended. Like, I'm a comic. I have thick skin. Like, I'll
Yeah.
take any joke.
Yeah.
I was just offended as a comedian. Like, at least have a joke to it.
Yeah, yeah.
That was just a statement.
Or like
this
specific,
next guy-
like now welcome Saddam or something
Yeah,
like
or
that.
coming to the stage, Osama.
We got let down. Like, we thought we were gonna see Saddam, but
Yeah.
then just like a regular guy came
And
up.
then you could go up and be like, you know what? I actually got to give you credit for actually knowing specifically where I'm from. Because if someone said Osama, it'd be like, you can tell. Imagine if they could regionally tell.
just type of
based-
terrorist.
That's
like,
precise
oh,
racism.
fuck.
Or at least your phenotype. They look at you and they go like, Afghani. Because you are from Afghanistan.
Yeah, I guess blood-wise, yes. But I was born in Seattle. Parents Afghanistan.
Yeah. So your parents, you're first immigrant, you're first generation like me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Greece. You're from Afghani. I did my 23andMe, and I got some of your DNA in there.
Oh shit, for real?
And from that particular region.
You got Afghan in you?
I got Afghan in me, dog.
What's the percentage?
I'm gonna say too much. I'm just kidding. Because former Ottoman Empire. So the first thing that I found out, which I suspected, because my dad is from a tiny island, which is now Turkish, that used to be Greek, used to be called Imbros. Now it's called shish kebab or baba ganoush or whatever. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. But so I got 36% Anatolian.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So Anatolian is Turkey, and Mesopotamia, I got like a good portion, 16 to 20%, something like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm like Iraq, Iran, Afghani, inbred kind of situation.
You know what'd be cool is if you saw the breakdown and then it would show you like who fucked who, like from your line.
I want to
you got
know.
to see that happen.
Also, there's rape in there for sure.
Well, everyone has that in there.
That used to be, that's the old school way. It's like hip hop back in the 90s. It's like that's the OG way, especially because humans were less civilized. You look at the way animals do it, and then you look at like the way empires used to do it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
You kind of realize like the society and all the rules we have, it's on a razor's edge. Like even
Right.
when COVID hit,
yeah,
you started to see things like everyone wanted a gun at that point. All
Right.
these things that we are progressive and liberal. Once things get taken away, we go backwards. It's like we go back to becoming wolves.
Yeah.
As soon as you can't wipe your ass, you want to take some heads off.
yes,
Pretty much. Like everyone was just stomping each other's skulls for toilet paper and shit.
Yes, yeah. I used to. I think I had a joke. There's something like, "Everyone's liberal till they get mugged." Everyone's 3 bad muggings away from switching to conservative.
Yeah.
and everyone's liberal till they get rich, and then they become socially liberal and fiscally conservative.
Yeah, everyone wants to keep their money.
Yeah, that's always my favorite when I would meet like a girl who would say that and be like, "Yeah, that means your dad's rich. You heard him say that. He wants to seem cool to you and your friends, but when he gets into his accountant's office, he's like, how do we hide all this money from poor people
Yeah.
so the government doesn't give it to them?"
They buy art.
Yeah, they buy
really,
art.
That's such a scam. Like I just learned about that.
Yeah.
Like rich people just buy these $1 million paintings and
What did you
stuff.
tell? Give us some intel.
I mean, I don't.
Because the
I just know
goal
the
is
broad strokes.
The
So,
goal
like,
of this podcast, if you don't know, is to overthrow the 1%.
how's it working? Is
I
it
just
working out?
decided right now that that's the goal of the podcast.
We're doing a hard pivot,
Yeah.
guys. This is the new direction.
So right now we're figuring out all their tricks, and we're gonna fucking
from a beanbag chair.
Yeah.
We're gonna dethrone Jeff Bezos.
yeah. Jared Harvard is the boss.
Yeah, we're thinking of this plan drinking RC Cola.
Yeah. I'm drinking water out of a metal can, and we're gonna and we got you. Both of us got YouTube specials, but somehow we're gonna figure
Yeah,
out.
man, that's the new paradigm, though, man.
Yeah.
People used to shit on YouTube, but
Yeah.
that's where it's at. I think
It is where it's
this
at.
is your second one, right?
It's my second one that did not pop off. Yeah.
Which one? Your
That's
special?
my second YouTube special that has not hit a milli. So
Look, there's time.
third time's a charm.
Mine hasn't hit a million either, but
Yeah.
I will say what is nice about it though is that it's a great entry point. Like I like the frictionless. There's zero friction between the consumer, the comedy consumer, and your content. You know what I mean?
Right. Straight to
And whenever
it.
you do a podcast or whatever, the algorithm will kick back up again. Like it's there.
Right.
Like Schultz and stuff was talking about. It's like having a digital house.
Dude,
you have equity. You have equity.
I love listening to Schultz talk about this stuff because it's so funny. You can see how some personalities, they would fit in any time. Like he could easily be giving any of those speeches in a boardroom on Madison Avenue talking about Marlboro, and it would be just as effective and just as true.
Yes.
I mean, the
Yeah.
kid is a marketing brilliant dude.
Yeah, he's changed the game.
He
Like,
fucking goes in
he's
there.
passionate about it. He knows his shit.
Yeah, clips, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, no. He looks at the metrics. He gives a hard take on what to do based on the metrics. Whereas I look at the metrics and I go, why do that? I want to put out a 3-hour special. And then you look at how when people tune out at 7 minutes, and you just don't want to believe it. You're going like, it's good, it's good.
You're looking at the graph, like exactly where everybody tunes out, because that's right there on YouTube. You know where you're like, okay, it drops off here.
It looks like crypto right now. Just boom. My special looks like crypto. Bang. So yeah, I get it. But you put out a special on YouTube. It's out right now.
Yeah.
Now, I first found out about you when I was being briefed by the NYPD about people who suspect. Okay, I'm just kidding.
The terrorist intro.
Yeah, when they were looking at you, I go like, let's find out all the Afghani immigrants. No, I was. I found out about you, Lance Cantstopolis.
Or Cantstopolis.
Cantstopolis, which is
Yeah.
very funny. So he's a Greek character you're doing. You can dance, dog.
Oh, every comic says that.
You can fucking
I'm
dance.
all right. I think I'm okay. For
Yeah, I don't
like
think it's
a
just
comic.
comics that say that. I think fucking a lot of women too are going blah, 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 blah. When I watch it. You had a little, because what he did, he had this hilarious like mullet going.
Yeah, it was a weave. I would clip it in. This is pre-Theo. Like this mullet predates Theo.
It was
So-
pre-Theo, yeah. You probably watched those videos.
And he goes, I gotta.
Yeah, I don't even think Theo's from New Orleans. I think he's just maybe a French immigrant.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, what
He's
if
from Connecticut. He doesn't
yeah.
even talk that way. It's like when the cameras are off, it's like, hey guys, that was a great show.
Mama, hi. Yeah,
It went great. They bought it. I did the gang. They went for it. They call me Rat King.
It seems like my tour is coming through home. Just have my pony ready, mother, in the foyer.
Mama. I've been watching Downton Abbey, and that just always makes me laugh whenever they go, Mama. Do you watch it at all?
I don't, but I am familiar. Wasps always either go mama or they also always refer to their parents as mother and father. And they do it in the first, like when they're talking about them, like you have to meet mother. They don't say my mom. There's no possessive pronoun. It's always like you have to meet mother or father says.
That's so weird.
Yeah, father says. And they always have a foyer. And the foyer is as big as this apartment studio.
Damn.
Foyer is a big thing in Wasp culture, and so is portraits.
What's like Wasp headquarters? Where
Connecticut.
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 And that's like old money.
Oh yeah, it's his
Like they own iron. Like they just
Yeah.
own raw materials.
Yeah.
Whereas like our parents did shit. They
Yeah.
go,
Connecticut or Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah,
we work in copper.
yeah. And the funny thing about wasps is like, because I live, in an area now where I can go see them in their natural habitat. And dude, we are all Puerto Rican to them. Like, I mean, the funny thing about wasps is they're like they are the white people.
Yeah.
They're truly the white. Like the Irish are kind of fucking, they were poor, came over and like fucking drinking and farting and shitting on the street. And then the Italians came in like, and then the wasps were always like, just kind of looking around going, get rid of them, get rid of them, get rid of them, get rid of them. So when you walk in their areas, they look at you like,
What are you doing here?
what are you doing here? And like they look at you no matter what you are, if you're not them, as like filth.
Yeah, they treat the world like a Subway sandwich. They can customize that shit.
Yeah, they kind of do look at it like this. They go, well, I have none of that, none of that, none of that. Just give me the way. Yeah, that's their, and they love horses.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't
That's
even
such an expensive. That's how you know they're rich as shit. Like
Yeah.
that's not cheap.
No. I wasn't even really aware of wasps till I went to school in DC. Like when you grow up in New York, New York is like it's like a universe crammed into a city. Like I have met every culture, race. By the time you're 6, you can speak like broken English. You can speak you can make out what an Arabic guy's saying. You can make out what like a Dominican guy's saying. Like there's nothing you're not exposed to. And I'm talking specific. I mean, I'm talking like when somebody's like, I'm from Madagascar. You're like, yeah, that's in Madagascar neighborhood. It's like all here. And
Yeah.
then when you go to DC and you go to these other cities, there's less ethnic groups. And think people are lumped in more to one or the other. And then in DC is where it's like a wasp old. It's a southern town with like a northern veneer, but the wasps have been running this country until they let JFK in, who was a Catholic. They killed him, and then recently, a lot of people forget Obama's a wasp. He's half wasp.
Oh yeah.
They let him in.
Yeah. No one really trumps that up.
No, you don't. That's not big. That's not on the shirt. They don't put that on the shirt.
Right, half wasp.
Yeah.
Like got a picture instead of hope, it just says half wasp. Just while riding a horse. Yeah. We're taking credit for the half.
Yeah.
That's the thing I noticed about New York, because like I grew up in Seattle and then I went to LA, after college. So I've just known West Coast. Like I don't have
Yeah.
East Coast culture whatsoever. But whenever I'm here, that's what I notice, man. Like here in New York and Midtown, it's just like so many different types of people on every block.
Yeah.
Like I had this idea. What's great about New York is you get to see every guy's version of what they think a cool guy is. You know what I mean?
What do you
like,
mean? What do you
like
mean?
you'll on one block you'll see a guy with cornrows and a flat brimmed hat and like sunglasses, and then you'll see an Italian guy with a leather jacket and slick back hair, and then you'll see some like white guy in like a European suit.
Yeah.
And all those guys think they're killing it.
Yeah.
And they're all right. They're all right.
Yeah. They should all. There should be like a United Nations of cool guys from every country
Kinda.
where they sit and go like, all right, man, we're doing the tracksuit. You could do the fedora.
Like all of them thought they were gonna get all the pussy when they left the house.
Right,
Like, this
right.
is the look.
Right. You're West Coast. And the thing about West Coast is you guys got a different vibe, and it's just as good. That's the thing. It's like New Yorkers are very arrogant, and we think that everything has to be like an assault. Like New York comedians are like an AR-15. We're like,
Well, you guys are sharp, just razor sharp jokes. You know what I mean? It's like jokes first. I've noticed.
Yeah. A lot of LA comedians, they'll try to pull you into their world of like the sketch or like their idea. They won't really hit you with like punchlines.
and they're like less aggressive. Tom
I mean-
Segura had a great. He called it. He said it's like an assault. He's like, okay, like, I feel like it was an assault. Like New York comedians are like an assault, and it's true. Part of it is it's the conditioning of New York where there's so much to do that like people come into the comedy club and they got this they have this like energy about them, like, dude, I could be anywhere, I could be doing anything, I chose to be here, you better be funny and now. And so we're like abused children, like trying to make them laugh everything, where LA's like, I know you're here, I'm gonna be a star, it's gonna be fine.
Well, everyone thinks that's the trouble with LA is that everyone thinks they're gonna be a star.
Yeah.
Like I used to have this joke where I'm like, everyone in LA is trying to make it. Like you could walk up to any random person on the street and be like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan." They'd be like, "Thank you." Just at a gas station, they'd be like, "Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're familiar with my work."
Yeah, like
Thank
if
you
I
so
followed
much.
you with a camera, people would stop and look, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
everyone's especially nowadays, everyone's an influencer or YouTube.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing with LA. Just so audience-wise, just from what I've noticed from performing in LA versus New York, what I like about New York is there's so many different worlds and cultures, and you know, you have finance people, you have fashion people, so it's a real eclectic mix in the crowd.
Yeah.
Whereas the stereotype of LA is like everyone is just waiting to be like, everyone's kind of like, oh, I could do that, or I'm an actor,
Right.
or everyone is trying to make it in kind of the same entertainment industry.
Right.
So it's almost like playing for comics a little bit.
It's a little.
Like, when am I can do that, or when am I going to get up there?
Right.
Whereas here, people can appreciate it. Like, I work at Morgan Stanley or whatever. This is funny.
Right. And there's people who have succeeded in other fields. It makes you a little more humbler here. It's a little more representative of reality here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a more realistic cross section of
Yeah.
America, I would
Yeah.
say.
People go to LA and they like create a version of who they are, and like people are forced to believe it because nobody's from LA, nobody has any roots.
That's
so you
pretty
could just go
funny,
to
yeah.
LA and just say that you were in the buildings in 9/11, and people just have to go along with it. I'm sorry, he has to be able to deal with the jokes for the rest of his career. I don't mind. I'm actually one of the people who minds the least, and I did 9/11 disaster relief, but the jokes have to be there. You got to. It's like the Germans. What you did was bad. I don't blame the sons and the people that are but like when they go, oh, here with the joke, it's like, yeah, another joke. You can't deal with the joke, you put people in ovens. Go fuck yourself. Maybe not you, but your fucking grandparents, and if they didn't, they were fucking complicit. So I'm gonna tell a fucking joke about it, and you're gonna fucking deal with it. I hope Jewish casting directors are watching.
Did you used to go out for a lot of stuff? Did you do the LA thing? Or were you
No,
always
I'm
East
bad.
Coast?
I'm
Well,
not.
you're great though, man, because you would do characters and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah,
about.
but he would go on auditions and he wouldn't comb his hair, so they wouldn't hire him.
Yeah, I just
No.
roll out of it. No, one of my biggest flaws, and it's a bad flaw for this business, is I'm not cooperative. I'm very good working with other comics. I love comics, because it's like a dance. It's like purely like fun.
Yeah.
And it's not scripted. It's unconfined. I don't do good with authority. I don't do good with people who I know are full of shit and are just getting a paycheck that they don't deserve.
You're the white Patrice O'Neal.
Now I hope they're not watching this.
Minus the diabetes.
Do you think part of it is you don't want to feel like somebody else is in control of your destiny, or does it feel like tap dancing to you? Whereas with comics, it's more cooperative and more collaborative. You don't feel like you're auditioning when you work with comics.
Absolutely. I think that's what it is. And I also just think that I'm not that bright and I'm not that good at stuff. And so I've never really succeeded in a structure. So I think I selfishly go like, that's not for me, man. Where it's really like, yeah, it's because like every time I tried to do that, I got beat. So I think there's a little bit of that going like, let me just stay away from the thing that I always get beat at.
So would those opportunities come in New York, or did you do the LA thing for a little bit?
I
at all?
never did the LA thing. I never did the LA.
So you never did a pilot season out there?
Never did a pilot season. Never did the meeting circuit.
You did it or
the
didn't?
meeting circuit. Oh yeah, I've done the meeting
Yo,
circuit.
I would love to hear your take
Yeah.
on this. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you did the meeting circuit, like
Yeah.
in Burbank and shit, like
I
all
did
the
all
studios?
of it. Yeah, all that.
All right. How
Pitching
old
shows.
were you at the time?
And over the last 10 years, I've done like that circuit like 2 or 3 times.
Just getting bottles of water?
Yeah, bottles of water is a big one.
Well, that's the whole, you drive so far for nothing to happen, and you get a Sparklets or you get a fucking Crystal Geyser, and you're like, "Where do I throw this? Can I validate?" You drove all the way from flew from New York to get a bottle of water. I know what you mean.
And then I love how they get out of the meeting. They're like, "Oh, somebody comes in and goes like, you remember you have that thing?" And they go, "Oh yeah, I got that thing." It's like, you don't have anything, dude. You're a fucking agent, or you're a development person. All you do is sit around all day.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to go anywhere. You got nothing to do. You just want this meeting to be over. You don't want to buy the show. I get it.
Part of it is they take these meetings just so they can show their boss, like, so in case anybody pops off, they can be like, I had the meeting with Yannis.
Yeah.
I did my due diligence.
Yeah.
But nothing really kind of comes from it.
Nothing comes
but
from it.
I learned a lesson from my first couple meetings doing those. Like, how were you, and what did you guys talk about? How did you approach it when you did those generals?
It's funny because some of the generals, and some of them were to pitch shows. And it's all based on heat, this business. So it's like heat. Like I remember me and Nate were pitching a show.
Nate
Bargatze. And at that point, he was beginning to have a little heat.
Did you do late night a few times? And
He had done it. By that time, he had done it. Yeah, like maybe he was on his 10th by that time. He had done an hour on Comedy Central, half hour. He'd done a bunch. Jimmy Fallon at that point, I think, had, kind of was pitching a show with him.
Oh, cool.
So we were pitching this other show. And walking in there with him, it was just like you could tell there was a little more attention because it was him, and like I was like invisible. So it's like that's just how it goes, So, but when that round we got interest a little bit more, and then when I got a little something, when my characters went viral, and then I was introduced to the business, that first round of meetings and stuff, it was all the agents and all. You sit there and they act very interested. It's all upside. Everything's upside. You haven't fucked up yet, so they got nothing to judge you negatively on, and you feel like you're king of the world. So that first round is kind of like you sit back and, you get lots of water.
Right.
You're completely hydrated.
Very hydrated.
All the other agents come in, or if you're pitching a show, they all come in. There's like 8 of them in there. You're trying to figure out who's who. And
this is so-and-so from Lit. This is so-and-so from our digital department.
Yeah.
This is the TV and film. Hey, I'm Greg. It's just like the whole fucking agency comes in. It was like, hey, I'm Daniel from...
And then as things don't work out and years goes on, you just having a meeting at like a coffee shop with one guy.
It's a tumbleweed. Like, you're like, can I get some water? No, we can't give you water.
Yeah, it's just all about heat. It's all about buzz or whatever that thing is. You must have had it at some point. You had an article written about you in the LA Times.
Yeah.
Back when that really meant something.
I forgot who had this quote. Someone said, like, you kind of get on the roller coaster 2 or 3 times throughout your career.
I think that was Patrice.
Patrice. Okay, yeah. It's a great quote. And it's very, it's true, So my first go was kind of when I left Boeing. I was working at Boeing as an aerospace engineer.
When you were young, too.
Yeah, I guess I was maybe like 20. When did I quit? I was probably like 25 or around 25 when I quit. And then I got Montreal around the same time, so maybe like 2010. So I did JFL, New Phases. Do you ever do New Faces?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of very whatever for me. Like some people, it's fucking after they do that. For me, it was kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But what's weird is I had some acting shit before stand-up stuff popped off for me. So when I was working at Boeing, I got this like huge guest starring role on Chuck on NBC. I actually took a long lunch because nobody knew I did any of this shit. So I'm like, I got to do a long lunch, and I auditioned for the show. And then I got it.
Wait, so you auditioned while you were working at Boeing?
Yeah.
On a long lunch?
Because I had to go all the way to Burbank to
right,
audition
in
for this
LA.
shit. And I was working in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Kind of. I had to be choosy with I couldn't go out for everything
Right.
because I'm living this double life.
Right.
So I do this long lunch, I audition, and then they like me. But then the network's like, he has no acting. Like, I had nothing. You know what I mean? And it's like a huge guest star.
Yeah, but that's what pisses me off about it. It's going like, some guy who's sitting there, or a girl who's sitting there, is going like, he has no acting experience. It's like, yeah, but you know what he does know how to do?
build fucking airplanes.
He knows how to build an airplane. What do you know how to do? Get a BA from Sarah Lawrence, and then get a job from a friend at a network.
Bro.
Is that what you know how to do?
That's what it is.
I mean, that doesn't annoy you a little bit?
It's a little frustrating that the people with the biggest positions of power have like a BA.
Yeah.
From some rando university.
Yeah.
And it's all breaks.
Yeah.
It's just
it's majored in
and it's
nepotism.
not even really what they want to do. Like
Yeah.
we dedicate our lives to this shit.
Yeah.
We love comedy, we love stand up, we love jokes, we love creating. It's every fiber of our being. And then someone who's the biggest gatekeeper for us to do what we want to do just kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
Like, I like to laugh.
Yeah.
I don't think that's funny.
Yeah. They get to say what
I was
is.
going to do finance, but you know.
But I'm not. It turns out I'm not that good at that either. So it's a lot easier to just sit around and tell people if they're funny or not.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like, have you had it? Well, I've had it before where I've had a manager and then, sometimes you go through different managers or agents and stuff. And then 3 years later, they're like, "Hey, I have a cake business."
Yes.
You go, "Oh, that's why you weren't good at what you were aiming for the cake business the whole time."
Yes,
I thought you were as invested in this as I was.
Right,
But you
right.
had your eye on the batter.
Well, they were just going like this. Hopefully this works out. And by this, they mean like hopefully one of the people I'm leeching off of becomes huge. And then I somehow get a name off of them and some of their money as well.
Kind of like everybody wants a piece.
I just like that we live in an era now where I could say that and not be scared for my life a little bit, which is that.
You know who's the king of that? Tim Dillon.
Yeah, he just says it. Yeah.
I mean, everyone loves Tim Dillon because he's so unplugged.
Yeah.
And even Hollywood, the people who we used to be afraid of by saying these things,
Yeah.
he is so unplugged.
Yeah.
The shit he says,
Yeah.
it's almost like negging a supermodel.
Yeah.
They want to suck his dick even more.
Yeah.
Like he'll bash Lily Singh's show or whatever.
And
like,
he'll let him suck his dick.
He's just so unplugged that
Yeah.
it's romantic and awesome.
Yeah, he really he calls it like it is, and there's humor in that. But he also, I think, is honest about how that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, just like pulling the wool back and saying it's all bullshit isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that's basically a lot of the world is that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, if it was not this person in power, it would be another person in power who was equally as bullshit. So like, you can't escape the bullshit. The way I look at the world is like, I think we talked about on this podcast before, there's like 4 levels of intelligence. I think the top level are the people who create all the stuff. Then there's people in the second rung who can who can understand those people who created stuff and build off of it. Then there's third people who can kind of understand those people, who can understand the real people. And then there's fourth people. The fourth rung is just
People who invested in crypto.
people investing in crypto is the fourth one. We are brought to you by Babbel.
Babble.
Guys, Jared is on Babbel, learning what should have been one of the 2 languages he speaks, Spanish.
My native language.
Right. So get on Babbel. It is an absolutely amazing app. I'm on there learning Spanish again because it's amazing. I took years of Spanish, and all I can say is el muchacho es guapo. So Babbel's an amazing language learning app. They've sold over 10 million subscriptions. They're the best on the market. That's why you're hearing their ads everywhere, because they got plenty of ad budget, because they're doing good. So they give you these little 15 bite-size lessons, so you learn 15 minutes at a time, and that's why it can be tedious if you go for 40. 15 is the perfect amount. When you get Babbel, you'll know. I love it. Their app is created by over 100 language experts. It's not just AI, which makes it better. You can choose from 14 different languages, all the goodies: Spanish, French, Italian, and German, etc. They have speech recognition technology, which helps you improve your pronunciation. So if you go to France, they don't break your balls too much. There's so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access their podcast, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So be like the great young god Jared Harvin.
See?
And start your new language learning journey today with Babbel.
See?
How do you say Babel in Spanish? Babel.
Babel.
Right now, go to babbel.com/longdays and get 60% off your... What?
60 of them things.
60% off your subscription. That's mostly free. What? Go right now, dog. Do this promo. Babbel.com/longdays to get 60. You heard that right. 60% off your subscription.
Fienta.
Guys, we're also brought to you by Bespoke Post for your box of awesome. All you got to do is take the quiz at boxofawesome.com and you get a cool box of awesome every single month. Right? Based on the answers on the quiz, they will send you a box of awesome stuff. They partner with all these emerging brands and send you a cool box of cool stuff. So each box is valued at about $70, but you pay a fraction of that price, my friends. Plus, each box of awesome, like I said, you're supporting small business, which, as you know, we love to do over here at Longdays. So 90% of what you get in that box does come from a small business. Get 20% off right now your first month of Box of Awesome when you sign up at boxofawesome.com. Remember to enter the promo code Fumes. What's your ideal box of awesome? What do you want in there?
Give me a little beach and camping apparel. That's what
Beach,
I wanted.
camping apparel. You get a knife. You get there are all types of stuff in there.
Nice little knife and a collapsible frisbee. I'm good.
They got barbecue rub. You get the gut hook knife. You get multi-tool. Comes from SOG, a company that has deep roots in the U.S. military. They got hot sauces, all types of stuff.
Yeah, this is the thing that Joe Rogan wants the most. All right,
Absolutely.
get him this for Father's Day.
Boxofawesome.com, promo code Fumes.
I had a little crypto just to be in the game,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
kind of fun. Like,
Yeah.
oh, let me have a horse in it. Let me get some Ethereum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any deep cut cryptos, or were you all Bitcoin?
Dude, I was railing against crypto, and people like were hating me on it because crypto bros they're intense.
Oh yeah, because
They're
they
like-
need it to be true.
Yeah, they need it to be true. They're kind of They're kind of like, they remind me a little bit of like whatever you want to say. The right or the left, the far left. It's like they're religious almost because like I was railing. I mean, I've done some rants about how fucking it's stupid and all this and it's bullshit. It's not going to come to anything. And I would get lit up. People would tell me they were unfollowing me, and now it's all crashing. So who was right? Because it's just, like, dude, if you can't explain to me, like, I know I'm stupid, but if I give you 15 opportunities to explain to me exactly what crypto is, and I'm still going like, okay, I kind of still don't understand it.
Are they restarting like halfway into the explanation?
I
like
had this
15
whole joke
times?
where I would just go, I'd ask a question and their response, it would just go, oh man, why you got to be such a boomer? That's what it always ended
to
up
slam
being.
you?
Yeah, just like, oh, why you got to be such a boomer? And it's like, I'm just trying to understand how your magical money that lives in the internet is something that I should buy with real money. That never made sense to me. I should buy it with real money. And they go, dude, well, the real money's not real either. And I'm going like, I get that, dude. I don't want to get into a fucking deep metaphysical conversation with you. But let's start from the supposition that money's real, because I can go to fucking Circuit City if it still existed and buy a fucking car radio.
Yo, do you remember buying CDs from Circuit City?
Yeah.
I just think about how kids have it so easy these days with the phone and like every Drake album. Everything they could ever want in the world is just beamed in their pocket.
How old are you?
38.
Wow, you almost gave,
28,
well, because
Jesus.
you're very LA. You almost gave, you're like, well,
No, I give them my real age.
You were like,
I'm
what's
not
the role?
trying to lie.
Yeah, you're like,
Especially
what's...
in comedy. Like, I don't understand comics who lie about their age.
Yeah.
If you were a dramatic actor or your currency was your fuckability or something, I understand how you
Yeah.
might fib.
Yeah.
But like,
And comedy's a lot about experience, so like it's good to have an age in that.
well, comedy's almost ageless though. Like, think about when you're at the comedy clubs and stuff, just people you're friends with. They're almost just comedic spirits.
Yes.
I don't even really see the vessel. It's just, oh, I like this guy's brain. I like this girl's brain.
Right.
I like the ideas she comes
yeah,
up with.
comedy is very ageless. That's why Lee got in trouble for what he did.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on that. Except if you're a woman, I can kind of understand why they would lie, because it's especially if they buy into that old system, because that Hollywood is really brutal about that stuff. Like your age, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you get aged out quick if you're a woman. I mean, you look at that leading man stuff, it was always pretty funny. Like feminists do have a point about that. You'd go watch a movie and it would be like some guy in a walker being the leading man. He's like 80. It would be like
It would be like Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah,
hot property at the time.
It's like some fucking the main lead of the female is like 30 years his inferior.
Yeah, you know what I was always seen with like sitcoms too and thought about is it's always like fat guy with smoking hot wife. You never see the reverse. Just like you know, suit like ripped abs guy, and the wife's like, oh, I'm home.
Yeah.
Like, how come that's not a thing?
It's always just Adam Sandler with the world's most prettiest woman.
Yeah, or Kevin James. I mean, that Scientologist girl was hot too.
Oh, Leah Remini.
Dude, yeah.
When it was Saved by the Bell Hawaiian style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was like peak Remini.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like really hot even in King of Queens, and even now she's hot. But
she's
like,
even hotter now that she's out of Scientology.
because she's on the run.
Yeah.
It's like Angelina Jolie and Salt.
Yeah. Yeah, she's on the run. Like, yeah.
She's on the run, dude.
Yeah, dude, when you come out of Scientology, they got some stuff on you.
Is that how it is? Just
That's
they
exactly
have
how it
a
works.
manila folder on all their deepest, darkest secrets.
The
So if you come out-
thing about Jeffrey Epstein was he was just employing the same tactics that all power structures employ, which is blackmail. That's how they keep you in. Like when you go to the Catholic Church and they ask you for a confession, they're not super altruistic about making you a better person. They're like, hey, we're fucking a lot of kids here. And so we want to know everyone in the town. We want to know all their dirty secrets in case you try to act up and say what we're doing. Guess what? We know all your sins.
Is that it? Like I've never. Is that the
There's a tape
genesis of
recorder in that booth.
confession?
That's my take on it. But every time I say it, people go, that makes a lot of sense. You know, in Scientology, they have this thing called auditing, where they do the same thing, where they come in under the guise of, we want to get to figure out where the aliens have infected your brain. Now, look, I support this Scientology church, because if you can convince people that aliens are in their brains and you're the only ones who know how to get them out by you confessing all your dirty shit, I say hats off.
Yeah.
I think we should put the people in jail who are trying to take down the Scientology church, because they're occupying a lot of gullible people. And so I think that serves a function in society.
Just have them go somewhere.
Yeah, you got to put them somewhere. You can't just have stupid, gullible people roaming around.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
They're all concentrated in one place.
Yes, you
It's sort of
can't-
like the sausage links in the junkyard.
Yeah, I don't want those people randomly on the subway to push me into the tracks. I want them thinking that they're getting the aliens out of their brain.
I always did have that thought that like, if you are of a certain age, like if you're 35 and older and you're in a cult, like it's pretty good. Like, because it's not, you shouldn't be in a rush to get them out.
Yeah.
Like, they have something. They have structure in their life.
Right.
Yeah. If they're 18 and they're in a cult, like, okay, if your mom and dad, let's get them out. But if you're
there's some
35
future.
and you're in the cult, it's like,
It's
okay,
either that
cool.
or Baccarat. You don't got much choices.
Yeah.
They found something.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 35 at that point, it would almost be too dangerous to let them out.
I know.
Because their brains are like, you can't go into the world at 35 and be like, okay, now you know the truth, now go get a job. They're like, wait a second, everything I thought was a lie, I can't go live in the real world now.
It is kind of nice though, just thinking about not having to worry about making decisions and just having it right.
Very nice.
Dude, when I was a kid, I would see commercials for shit and I would just be like, I'm not gonna get it, trying to get inside my brain. Like I make my own decisions. I don't let commercials affect me.
Yeah.
But you get older and you have to make all these decisions every day. Now I'll see like a burger and I go, I should get that.
Yeah.
Just because it takes one decision away from me.
Right.
And
It's a little
that's
easier.
liberating.
You hear that, ladies? Get back in the kitchen. Let the guys call the shots. You don't really want to be out there in the workforce.
Yeah, it's too much.
Wasn't it a good life when a guy just ordered for you? I said that. Is it hard for you? Is it hard for you, not only in comedy, but especially in comedy, but in the world, to be an engineer means you have a big brain.
I guess. I mean, it just means you have a high threshold for academic pain.
It's a
I could
humble
get
way to
through
say it. Yeah.
I'm not this brainiac or whatever. Like I could do math. I could take the classes. I could do whatever was required. I could jump through the hoops. to get an engineering degree. I'm able to do that.
But then Boeing did hire you.
They did
at
hire
a young
me.
age.
Well, like the age that anybody is when they come out of
okay.
college, and I wasn't like Doogie Howser of airplanes.
That just let you know how stupid I was and how I've never met anyone who worked at Boeing. And I'm like, dude, they hired you when you were a young adult.
You were 22 when
Yeah.
you got hired to
How
build?
does that-
That's like the age of everybody when they graduate.
I just imagine like you have to go to 40 years of school to work for make airplanes.
Yeah,
But that's also kind of makes me a little scared that there's a 22-year-old guy testing the stress of a fucking plane while
That's
he's
how it
like,
is?
yeah. I'm like, yeah, there's some dude who smoked weed on Saturday who's letting me know if this plane is
Oh,
safe.
I don't know if the engineers are, I don't know if it's a lot of engineers who are token up and shit.
They're not
Kinda
cool?
straight-laced
Yeah.
and nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
The plane's not going to fail because you were swiping on Tinder. That's for sure.
Well, yeah.
Did you clean up more puss as a comic
Or an engineer?
or an engineer?
Is this a real question?
It was a rhetorical one.
Do you have a hypothesis?
It was a rhetorical one to set you up to let you know how much push comedians get when the alternative is engineer.
engineering.
When the alternative is rock star, it's not so good. But when the alternative is engineer, yeah.
Yeah, we don't compare to, comedians don't compare to musicians.
Right.
Isn't it weird how there is this type of girl, the chuckle fucker, if you will,
Yeah.
who is into stand-up comedians,
Yeah.
who's just all about it.
Yes.
And it's nice, I guess, when you're a comedian, but then part of you is like, musicians exist, right?
Yeah.
Why? It's
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
that they gravitate towards comedy.
That means do you think it's a girl with just a little less self-confidence?
It's just so niche
Right.
that it's odd when like a really beautiful girl is into stand-up comedy.
She got some hidden trauma. That's what that means.
Maybe.
You hook up with her. She's like, oh, I have 3 kids. I used to cut myself.
Yeah. What's your take? Like, what do you think? What do you see that girl's background as?
Maybe they take pride in being different than the other girls, because
Right.
probably all her friends are into whatever the cool Harry Styles or whatever the fuck, or maybe some indie band or something. But it's like, oh, you think that's cool? I'm gonna go way over here.
I'm gonna go fuck Sean
gonna go-
Patton.
Kind of like, yeah, that's a little remove.
I'm gonna go fuck a guy who orders a bottle of wine back to the room. I watched him do that once. It was hilarious. It was in Montreal, actually. We were drinking all night, and we got at the end of the night, and he goes, "Hey, can I get a wine?" He was like, "Ah, man, we're closed." He's like, "Can I get the bottle?" And he just brought it back to his room. One of my favorites, of course, Butcherbox. I use it. This is a no-brainer. This is an easy one to tell you about. Butcherbox is a subscription service that delivers high-quality meats and seafood right to your doorstep. Which is the one that we got that we love. They had salmon in there, lobster tails, steaks, chicken, whatever your protein is, guys. All their meat is high quality, no antibiotics, no added hormones. That is important. That stuff is very important for your health, that these are high quality meats. They're packed fresh. They're shipped to you frozen for your convenience. So you save time. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You pack your freezer full of meat and you plan out all your dinners. Delicious 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, and wild-caught salmon. Unbeatable value. Seriously, less than $6 per meal on average. Box of Awesome is a no-brainer. And let's see what they're offering. Ooh! Free bacon for life. Guys, for your breakfast. Free bacon for a lifetime membership plus $10 off. So this is great. Go to butcherbox.com/fumes. Use the promo code fumes to get 1 pack of free bacon in every box for the life of your membership plus $10 off your first order. So they give you a little haircut on that first order and you get free bacon for the lifetime of your membership. And once you become a member, you're not going to stop. So it's your meat will just be delivered to you and you don't got to worry about it. So butcherbox.com/fumes. Use the code fumes to get those benefits. Butcherbox, go do it. Comedians are animals, dude.
Yeah.
We can be substance abusing animals. We have a nocturnal lifestyle. We have a big hole in our soul, and we fill it with other people, strangers. Fake affection, which is really selfish because they want to feel good.
Yeah.
We go like, oh, they love me. It's like, no, they don't love you, man. they love that you made them feel pretty good and that you made them forget about the bills that they have for like 45 minutes if you're good.
That is something, though.
It's something.
Everyone's getting something out of the
It's a
transaction.
narcissistic love, like Johnny and Amber.
I guess. I don't like. What's your favorite part about stand-up? I think people do stand-up for different reasons. Some guys do it for the decibels and the laughs. I like the puzzle of it. I like when an idea turns into a tangible joke. That's
Right.
exciting to me.
So it's a little.
It's kind of like Sudoku to me.
It's a little mathematical. Your brain a little bit.
Not like the engineering part is very kind of add everything up and very analytical, but when it comes to stand-up, I'm not that methodical and surgical with it's maybe that's why I like it more, just because it is ethereal a little bit, right? Sometimes a joke will just come to you and you just figure it out and you do it on stage. It's kind of organic.
Yeah, because I was going to say your material doesn't seem too constricted. It doesn't like Dimitri Martin. It's very written.
Right.
Yours is performative.
Yeah.
And you do sketches, you do characters, and so I would say like that sounded a little ironic considering like when I watch your stuff, it's like it's conversational.
Yeah.
But so what about do you like the puzzle? Do you figure it out on stage, kind of?
I'll have an idea. I don't know. Does it happen to you? Every comic is different, so I don't know what it's like when you get a joke. Sometimes it's just you're living your life. Do you sit down and write, or do you?
No, I do it all on stage.
Oh, you do it all on stage?
All on stage. So I'll go up, like sometimes I'll go up with an idea and just try to hammer away with it like a sculpture. And sometimes the idea will come to me while I'm on stage doing something else, and then my brain will. That's the way my brain works. While I'm in that joke, I'll hear another one and go like, oh, let me go there. Yeah.
So okay, do you jot down at least an idea to take to stage?
Yes.
And then you'll
I
play
jot
with
down
it.
the idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really funny when you look at a comedian like mine's notes. It's just like, it's one of those, it's like asshole, foot.
Yeah.
It's like keywords that get you in.
It's all our own language.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you wouldn't be able to decipher my thing. I wouldn't be able to decipher yours,
No.
but it makes perfect sense to you.
Makes perfect sense if you look at it. But if you don't know what it is and you look at it, you're going like, this is a depraved individual who should be being investigated by the FBI, who has a sheet that he carries around in his phone. Well, now it's digital that goes like, asshole, women shouldn't work. Crypto's bullshit.
They shut down like 10 square blocks wherever they find this notebook. They go, we've got a maniac on the loose.
Yeah, I would assume that my idea page looks a lot like the Unibombers. The U.S. government is full of shit like that. Yeah, it's just like, because we're trying to work on some of the same premises. We're just trying to make them funnier. Yeah, they go blow up buildings. We're going like, hey man, we're just trying to make people laugh. We're just being contrarian.
Yeah, mine, I won't do it like that. Like that sounds pretty free the way you do it. I'll have an idea of just different areas around a topic, and I might have one or two kind of tighter jokes that I'll try, and I'll tag on stage. So what you do with all your stuff, I'll have the joke, and if I'm getting a laugh, then I'll swim in it, and
Right.
I'll find the more organic tags.
Right.
Because whenever they're laughing, it feels like you have the star in Mario Kart.
Right,
Just
right.
You can do no wrong. They're already laughing.
Yeah.
So if you say some shit that's bullshit and doesn't get a laugh, they're already laughing and they don't remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's your time. It's like a safe space for you to explore. Yeah.
It's Matrix. It's bullet time.
Yeah.
Like it slows down. And then sometimes if the tag works, then you get another pop out of the crowd.
Yeah.
You go, okay, I'll add that to the thing. But
Now-
yeah, I love that puzzle of it where, I'm walking around New York, say today, and if I do a show later tonight and it works, that's exciting to me.
Yeah.
Just, oh, fuck, from thought to tangible product kind
Right.
of almost. It's like having a new Tesla or because that's what jokes are. Jokes
It's
are
almost
kind of
like
products.
that. Yeah, it's almost like that minus the
money.
minus
and-
the car, the money. You went big with that analogy. I mean,
What,
you
Tesla?
went big.
I did. Yeah, that
It's
was
kind
a
of
little,
like having one of the most expensive cars that you need a lot of money to afford, that it's very cutting edge, and actually very hard to get right now because of the supply chain and demand, and
Bro.
gas prices being high.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was talking on the phone to Neil Brennan in Brooklyn, just catching up. And this has never happened before. I've never been loitering by a Tesla.
Right.
So we're just talking, and then the lights go like whoop whoop.
Yeah.
And then it says recording.
Yeah.
And then I got nervous. I walked away from the Tesla. I didn't know that it knows if you're like hovering around a Tesla.
And it records.
And records because it thinks I might be stealing it.
Yeah, it records. Yeah. So what was that combo with Neil? I love Neil Brennan. Neil Brennan's very funny, and Neil Brennan has a reputation of being like a little aloof.
Like a cat?
Like a cat. And I don't mind that. I don't mind guys like that. I don't mind, like, because I am more suspicious of the guy who's always trying to be,
The dog? What are you getting into?
I don't mind a guy who some people think is a dick, because then at least I know that he's a real person. Because who can be affable to everyone?
Yeah.
You know?
Because you can believe, if you're a little less giving, you believe everything.
Yeah.
Rather than the guy who's just like, you're like, what's your angle?
Yeah.
If you're a puppy dog for
like
everybody.
Ted Bundy was like, everyone loved the guy. They didn't know that he was biting tits off in his spare time. It's a perfect smokescreen for that. But like a guy who's like a little bit of a dick, you know he's not going to bite tits
Bullshit
off
you,
because he'd be the first guy you suspect. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be much of a smokescreen, because you go like, that guy's a dick. You might want to check on him and see if he's got any tits in his closet. Because then it's not a good cover. But being the nice guy is a very good cover for doing something that's the
Nefarious,
opposite.
yeah.
So
He's great, man. He's a cool guy. I know he may not be as accessible as like other comics who are just, like you talked about, biting tits off and stuff. But it took a while for us to become close, because I'm very much a put your head down, do stand up. I'm not the guy. I'm not, some comics are a little too, I'm old school, where there's kind of a way to do things, and I'm not going to chat up everybody who's like a couple levels. There's like, at the Cellar or whatever. Isn't the table like a big thing?
yeah, it's all bullshit.
Not anymore, or what?
Well, I guess whoever still believes in that garbage. That was
Whoever
never
has
me.
a million followers on TikTok and sit down.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, to me that stuff, it wasn't part of my personality. Like, I don't work at the Cellar, and I was never into that kind of
Gatekeeping,
gatekeeping, but
exclusivity.
kind of like comedy's hard enough,
Yeah.
It's like, and the comics know who's funny, the comics know what's going on, so it's like, I understand the need to have like a hiring. I even understand the need to be gatekeepers. I just don't think everyone needs to constantly live in fear about where they're sitting.
Right.
I think the good thing about boxing gyms is that you go in there, and I think comedy clubs in a lot of ways are like boxing gyms, and now I think that's more evident because comedians are blowing up on their own.
Yeah.
So now it's becoming more evident that the clubs need the comedians as much as the comedians need the clubs. So it's a little bit more parity in that way. So it used to be like, you got to get past in the club to be able to work on your 5 minutes to get on there. There was a structure. So I think the clubs were kind of feeling themselves a little bit in that way. And that's fine. That was that era. I probably would have done the same thing. Paid the comics like less than a waitress and make all this money and be like, you're just lucky to be here because this is your opportunity to be big. Now it's more evident that it's a gym. And like when you go to a boxing gym, there's a lot of guys there who are training to just train. There's a lot of guys who are amateurs, and then you got, Manny Pacquiao stopping by. And that's how kind of comedy clubs are. You'll be working there, Chris Rock will come by, some of the big guys, and then there's guys who are not. And like nobody's sectioned off. Like you could be, you'll see fucking Mayweather hitting a pad, and then there's somebody over there who's an amateur who's hitting a pad, and nobody's like, don't look him in the eye and shit like that. You know what I mean?
But for me, I feel like there's like a natural flow of things at these places. Sometimes there are comics who are a few months in, and they'll go up to Chris Rock or something and be like, can I go on the road with you? Or, who just kind
But
of...
why would you want to stop that? Because how hilarious and awkward is that interaction?
Yeah.
That's my favorite
So
thing.
you love that.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm just saying I don't want to be that person. So I'm always...
Because you're a real human.
Yeah,
I
so
can tell you're like a
that's
genuine
why-
guy, not a sociopath.
Yeah, when I came around
But how
the
great is it
store-
to see a sociopath 22-year-old who grew up thinking they could do anything because they got a computer, just walking up to Louis and being
Chris
like,
Rock, this is my chance. Chris, do you have an opener? I've been at it for a couple months, and I've got 3 solid minutes.
I mean, that's the best. And if I was Chris Rock, I would want to be in that environment where things can be uncomfortable, because comfort corrupts. I mean, what are you going to do? Sit at a fucking gold table and lose touch with the world? That's what these fucking maniacs at the top do. They sequester themselves away from the rest of the world, and then you start talking to them, and they start telling you that Austin's good when it's not.
Okay, so I want to get your thoughts. For a second,
It's like, talk to some normal people. Nobody enjoys it.
I was out there for
I'm joking, but I'm not.
a month or two when LA was
I
super
remember.
shut down.
Yeah, I was there.
So I was like, I had the Zoom writing job at the time. I'm like, let me I miss stand up. I want to do stand up.
Yeah.
So I want to do that at night while I do this thing by day. And then I saw you out there and I heard like, oh yeah, Yannis is moving out there too. Were you just spending some time and then you were still here in New York?
Yeah,
Or did you move for a little bit?
No, at first, yeah. So when the pandemic hit, like everyone was like, we're going like, where's open? Like I want to.
Yeah.
So it's like Austin, and then Rogan was moving there. Rogan's a planet, obviously.
Of course.
And so he's moving down there, and I'm like, maybe I'm gonna move to Austin, you know, because he's moving down there. He's opening a club and doing all that stuff.
Was it really shut down here too?
It was very shut. Everything was shut.
couldn't
down.
do shows?
Couldn't do nothing.
People in parks and rooftops.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you weren't even supposed to do that. You had to like do it illegally.
Yeah.
So it was like really shut down. And Austin's great. Like I enjoy going to Austin. Now here's the truth. If I wasn't married with a kid at this point, and my wife's family wasn't so close, maybe I would, right? But the thing is, it's like, does it matter where you live anymore? Because like Austin's like a 3-hour. I can go anytime.
Yeah.
And my wife totally. I could go for like 2 weeks. I could go for a month at a time if need be. So at the end of the day, it's just like whenever Rogan opens that club. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'll be there. Like it's just like I'll be there.
Yeah.
And if I start making a lot of money and I want to hide some taxes, I'll move there for real. I'll convince the wife and say we're moving there. And I'll claim that it's for the culture, but really it's because I'm saving millions of dollars.
When I was out there, because the real estate was coming up and I was trying to maybe buy something to take advantage of that when everyone was like flooding in. And then Rogan had, she was actually at the dinner. You know, the dinner that Rogan had, like it was Tim Dillon, you, Tony.
Tim and Joe's, it was Joe's real estate agent.
So
how great was she? Just sort of that Austin, Texas vibe.
Yeah, totally. And the thing is, Rogan recommended me to her, and so like she calls me on the phone. She's so nice. This is before she realized what tax bracket I'm in, right? Because if Rogan, because we're all comics,
right.
So we're like, oh, you need a place? My lady's great,
right.
Fucking the richest comedian in the world. Like, yeah, use my lady.
Yeah.
We have two very different realities, right? So she's like so nice on the phone and like, yeah, this is a great neighborhood. This is a great neighborhood, and be happy to show you around and blah blah blah. And oh, you're a comedian too. That's fantastic. Yeah. And then as it became apparent that, my price range and what I'm looking at, it just kind of faded away.
She's like, I think you're better suited for Craigslist.
Kind of. And it was kind of weird when I see her at the dinner, like, hey, yeah, how are you? Oh, yeah, you look nice. Blah, blah, blah. But like both of us knew this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Because, I think the first person she worked with was Tim after Rogan. And
yeah, those
Tim
are like the
had
two
money.
biggest guys.
Yeah. So, that's funny. She was great, though. Her vibe was great, dude. If you guys would have seen her, she's like a Texas, like,
that's what you want.
she's like a pig in shit because she's like a Texas woman, and then all these people were moving and to Austin, and she's just like caking off.
And top dollar. This
Yes.
isn't Texas people who are looking. This is just people who have LA prices.
Yes.
Like, oh, for this price? And that's fucking huge for her, you know?
Yeah. I just read that the as of right now, I think the biggest rent increase in the country is Austin, and it's close to 50% increase in rent. I mean, and then number 2 is Nashville, which is crazy. The shift, to think about the shift that's happening right now from San Francisco, LA, New York to last year, Nashville was the number 1 real estate market in the country. Nashville, that fucking dump where Nate Bargatze calls home. That place.
Theo there too?
Who?
Yeah.
Theo's there. Right?
Theo's there. I think he's there, but I think he's also in LA.
everywhere.
He's kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he lives there too. But yeah, I mean, and it's I think the pandemic kind of just shook things up.
Yeah, it just taught you, oh, okay, things are a little remote now. You can be anywhere. America's a big place. Why am I getting raped in these cities? Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
People don't even want to go into work anymore
Yeah.
unless you're doing some flex time or, all right, I'll go in 2 days a week. But that whole, I'm going to be at my desk for 10 hours Monday through Friday, it's gone.
And then just sit at 4 hours of traffic. No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the traffic's still there. I mean, the traffic is just like everywhere.
Well, in Austin, it'd be funny to be like, oh, traffic's pretty bad. It'll be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, are you
compared to LA.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, just you wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll keep getting, the more people move there, the more it'll get bad. Do you think it snaps back? Like we were just talking before, I don't know if it was on camera about Miami. Miami, it's crazy. With Miami, you're going like, everywhere is crowded. It's a metropolis. It used to be, I remember when Miami was South Beach, and that was it. Now it is like a massive city with a massive population, massive infrastructure, high-rise condos going up everywhere, industries flooding there. It's nuts, the shift that's happening. Do you think it snaps back a little bit, or do you think people like spend a summer in Miami's humidity and they go, fuck this? They spend a summer in Austin going like, all right, keep Austin weird, fuck that shit. I want to go back to normal. Or do you think it just like, this is a shift?
I think it's a shift. I think you just get too much for your money.
Right.
That why would you ever go back?
Right. It's a very right position, though.
Yeah.
Politically, because it's like no state taxes, less taxes.
But I heard, was it the homeowner taxes? That's where they get you, or the property tax is really high up there.
That's where they get you.
Yeah.
That is where they get you. That's true. It's kind of like a trade-off, I guess. But it's still, I don't think, anywhere near as much as, if you have money, I don't think it's anywhere near as much as how you get taxed in New York and Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not in that tax bracket yet.
No, that's why when people always talk about that, I'm going like, I don't have to worry about that. They go, how do you deal with those New York taxes? Like, I don't really. They don't really come hunting for me. They go look at mine. They go, oh, keep it. You need it more than we do. So you shot the special at the Comedy Store, and you did it in all the rooms.
Did it in all the rooms.
Yeah.
The original room, then the main room, and then upstairs to the belly.
Nice.
Just like a regular. I just wanted to tag along, just do my regular spots at the club.
Right.
I didn't want to, like load in an audience. I didn't want to make it precious. I just kind of, I wanted to show the store on a regular night of operation what that's like, because I don't think a special had done that. They had used the bones of the store to like use the stage, but it was always kind of a production. A production, yeah. But this was just sort of, I wanted people to get a feel for what it was like, or what it's like to do your spots at the store.
Now you're in this era, right? With kind of the rest of us, where it's sort of like, hey, build your own thing, get your audience, release things digitally for free, and hope there's a return, right? Because that's what we're all doing, right? We're like, hey, I'm putting this up for free. I spent a little money on it. Hopefully, this is a return. When I tour and I win fans over, etc. Before that, though, you had some good things pop off. What did that feel like? Like when Goatface, you guys got a show.
Well, it was a 1 hour sketch special for Comedy Central. So, yeah, we got to put it on, but it was a one-off.
Right.
We were hoping that it would go into a series.
Right.
But Comedy Central didn't want to do it.
Right.
But it's kind of vindicating, looking back, just what everyone is doing. Like Aristotle is on SNL now.
I love that
Hasan is, who he is. He's going to tape his Netflix special, his second one, this Saturday, actually.
Yeah, he's
here
doing
in New
like
York.
Radio City. Hasan is like
he's just
blown up.
Yeah, Asif was in WandaVision. He's in that new Harry Styles movie. He's in this movie with Joe Coy. So
and
like
hey, you're here on Longdays.
I'm on Longdays.
So you're doing
it's sort of like we're all doing pretty great. Like our respective things. Like this smoothie was free. I didn't have to pay for that. A lot of times I have to bring my own smoothie to podcast, but like this is all post Goatface.
Yeah.
So we're all doing really well.
Yeah. But Goatface
my YouTube special is at 200K in 2 weeks. A lot of positive comments, some not so good, but the majority positive. Yeah. Some people want me to die, but like some people appreciate the humor.
Yeah. So when you guys did that, was there like the hope that like, oh my, this is gonna? Maybe. And was there a realization afterwards that like, hey, because it was good and you guys were funny.
Thanks. I was head writer on it. What was cool is we did that shit on YouTube for a while, for like 2 years. When we were coming up, nobody was anybody, and we thought that would be our thing. Like, okay, we're four funny stand-ups who can do sketch exceptionally well, we believe, and maybe if we package it this way, eventually the Comedy Central, whoever will recognize it, and we'll get to have our own sketch show. And then we had some stuff pop off, like on Reddit, some would go viral, but it never really happened, and everyone got busy. Like Hasan got Daily Show, and everyone got busy with their own lives. And then we were able to do the sketch special, the one-off Comedy Central wanted to do, but it didn't turn into a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was the hope that it was was there a realization afterwards, like, hey, maybe if this is good and it didn't turn into something, maybe it's not because of us. Maybe it's because people aren't really, because like Hasan got on the Daily Show. Here's my point. Hasan got on the Daily Show, but if Hasan would have got on the Daily Show now, it wouldn't do anything for his career.
Yeah. Timing
right?
is
like
such a
Michael
big
Costa.
No, he's doing the track phone.
I'm just kidding. He's a friend of
Costa,
mine.
I love
Yeah,
Costa.
yeah.
I know Costa from the store, and
He's the
I
best.
remember when he got Daily Show. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we're losing a buddy because he's got to come out.
Yeah, no,
here.
he'll be back soon. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Meaning that there's just not a lot of eyeballs watching anymore. So it went from, he's a very good friend of mine, so he'll be okay with it. But when John, or even Trevor at the beginning, it was like TV was still. I mean, when you just look at the hard numbers, they're low.
Yeah.
They're really, really low.
All of TV is kind
All
of,
of TV,
unless it's Yellowstone.
That's my
or,
point.
Yeah.
That's my point. And so it doesn't speak to the quality of the content. It speaks to just the shift that happened. So, Hasan got on the Daily Show at the right time. Also, he's
Totally.
great, but he got on at the right time. But like you guys were maybe doing Goat Face towards the end, because that was recently, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like you might have been just a little too late.
Yeah.
As far as like the amount of eyeballs that could have come there. Was there that realization, or did you think like,
so much of it is timing, and also in the business we're in, all you can do is do your best, and you've done your part. The universe kind of takes over with the rest.
are you too nice to make it in this business?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear stories about people who are like,
Yeah.
at the top, and you go, oh, fuck, they did that?
Yeah, I've experienced it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't want to live my life that way. Like, I
shouldn't.
don't want to be in entertainment and stomp on skulls and shit.
shouldn't, yeah.
I would rather be less famous than stomp on skulls to get to where I need to be or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, because I want to have a good time on this journey as well.
Right.
And
Yeah.
feel like I haven't lost myself.
Right.
But yeah, so there is this shift. You're right about timing and everything. And what's interesting, I mean, you and I, when we came into the comedy game, there was a way to do things. There was a blueprint. And it had been that way for a pretty long time. Part of it was, okay, you do a late night set, you become fifth on the call sheet on a sitcom, then people watch this TGIF show or whatever the fuck, and then they come and they see you. That was the way to do it. And then Instagram comes along, YouTube comes along, and there's this seismic shift, and no one, even if you get a sitcom, no one's watching. You might make some money, and it may help you as an actor, but as a stand-up, it's not helping you anymore. So this shift on my journey in stand-up and entertainment and all that, this is happening in the middle of it. And then, Goatface is part of it, where, okay, that's traditional Hollywood, and then things are shifting even more towards TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Mm-hmm. You see Schultz do his thing. You see Joe List. You see Normand. And like that becomes the new thing, because before it was Netflix, and you go, oh, this is actually a viable route. And then I know we're giving our shit away for free and all that. It's almost borrowing a page from hip hop or SoundCloud. Like, music is always at the forefront.
Yeah, they were before us.
They always have the blueprint for everything, like mixtapes and shit. Like, comedy is following suit.
Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, so we're giving it away for free and everything, but what's the alternative?
Yeah.
At least you have a shot with putting the shit out for free. And also, what's great about you and like the other guys I've mentioned too is like this shit is funny, because there are so many check boxes with traditional Hollywood. They don't look at, like, funny is number 27 on the list.
What do you think's going on? I want to get into it. Why is that? What's going on? What do you mean 27th?
Why it's not the number one
Yeah.
thing? Because they're marketing people. It's almost like they work for Goldman Sachs or something. They're just like, there's bean counters and number crunchers, and they go, okay, this is a marginalized person. This will speak to. We know how to package this. It's like you're making an R&B group or something.
Right.
Not you're Simon Cowell.
Right.
It's not about like funny.
Right.
It's funny at its core.
Right.
So they'll look at like, okay, what's the racial composition? Do they have enough fan base?
Right.
For it to make sense, to not lose the job.
Are you too good of a person to push your ethnicity to the front?
No, well, okay, so
Like, I don't know what.
I think good
you should have went into the
comedy-
meeting and been like, me and my mother swam here in a shoe.
Dude,
should've
I
went to that
joke
meeting
about
eating
this,
a kebab.
honestly.
Yeah.
Like, so there are, I did We Might Be Drunk with Sam and Mark. And Mark pointed that out. He's like, it was very nice, because I love Mark too. He's like, I think you're like really underrated. He goes, do you think, you don't take offense to this, is it because you don't do the ethnic thing? Do you think you'd be further along, or maybe you look like a honky? And that's like, has that hurt you because you look like a honky?
Right.
And I'm like, I think so. It's like this racial no man's land. Because
You should name your next special Racial No Man's Land. I I like that.
It's just me on an island.
Yeah.
With 0 fans. But yeah, it's one thing I've noticed just being in the belly of the beast of Hollywood, that whenever they do give opportunities to, say, someone like me, someone from Afghanistan or, someone like that, you have to hit that, you have to play that note. That kind of has to be a large part of your comedy pie or whatever the story you're telling.
Yep.
Because it's like, they want the pat on the back, like, I gave the disadvantaged person... Right. I blindsided him.
Don't
they
sue
want the
us.
credit.
Don't take us down.
Or kind of like, look at the good thing I did.
Yeah.
Instead of, if I pitch a workplace comedy that's just regular, they go, we get that from a white guy.
Right.
We didn't give you this meeting to do normal shit.
Do you think morality is hurting the quality of entertainment? Like, if Michael Jackson was trying to make his music today, maybe there'd be a bunch of bloggers or journalists trying to find out why kids are in his house. And you're going like, don't do that yet. Let him perform some.
He hasn't made Thriller yet.
Yeah, just he's too talented. Let's keep that quiet for a little while. It's the same thing with JFK. Like, JFK was having hooker pool parties at the White House, ended up being one of the most consequential presidents we had, probably with his back channel negotiation saved us from nuclear war with Russia. There's a lot of stuff he did.
He was relaxed from the pool party.
He was getting his balls drained constantly. Yeah. Now, if somebody would have fucking, same thing with Martin Luther King, if there's some fucking person investigating where he's going at night, we don't have fucking civil rights. If we have someone fucking investigating what children are doing climbing trees with Michael Jackson, we don't get Billie Jean. Can these people still cancel but wait a little bit? Based on talent, go, okay, look, we know what he's doing, but let's keep it a secret because let's see what he does.
How many years do you think they get? It's like a time capsule?
Yeah, you gotta
like
give
10
a
years
time
later,
capsule.
your life is over?
I used to say, like, there used to be, like, when there was, like, a lot of emigration to New York by kids from the suburbs trying to make it, and it got too much. I was like, we need a system in place where you get 7 years to try to make your dream. And if you don't make it, we take a bunch of kids who are from the projects and they beat the shit out of you, rob you, so you're forced to go back and work at a Panera Bread in Schaumburg, Illinois, because your dream didn't work out. We solve a big solution. We employ those kids to do that, so we're underprivileged kids are getting some money, and we keep this dream train moving.
Everyone gets 7 years.
You can't make it get this saturated where it's just this overpopulation of like potential comedians and performers and all that shit. It's like, because it's too much shit to sift through to find the good shit. So something like that where it's called quality protection, where we allow someone to be a abuser for a certain amount of time to just make, because you're like, this dude has talent, just hold it.
Yeah.
If you don't get talent, throw him in the river. But I mean, Kevin Spacey, give the guy a couple of years.
Yeah,
he paid his dues.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
want some more House of Cards?
Could we have waited for them to finish House of Cards to let that come on? I think yes.
You didn't.
Did anyone benefit from stopping it now? No. We got hurt. The people.
That's true.
We lost a great character on a great show
Frank
because
Underwood.
people want to snoop around and see what fucking PAs are getting their dicks touched. I don't care. Okay. If you're not strong enough to deal with fucking Kevin Spacey touching your dick on a set, maybe you can't make it in Hollywood.
It's a prerequisite. Like, how bad do you want to make it?
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Let's give it a little time, dude. Like if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, you just had Fahim on your show, and Fahim is doing horror. I know a few things." I'm gonna go, hold it, dude. Have you seen Lance Cantstopolis? Have you seen the fucking latest special? The kid is fucking hilarious. Okay, give him a fucking shot. He's about to come up with he's about to fucking have a Netflix meeting about him and his mother swimming her in a fucking shoe.
Yo, what if that'll get greenlit in a heartbeat?
Dude, why don't you do it?
You're gonna see a billboard. It's just gonna be me like crying over my mom. And I'm wearing a turban for some reason. It was like, it got a 10-minute standing ovation at Con.
Yeah, I think this is an era where you just can't be too honest about how maybe normal you had it.
I think there's a shift, though. And I think that's happening with YouTube and straight to the people. Like, maybe I'm naive. I don't know. I want to give America a little more credit than the Suits and Hollywood and gatekeepers, because they just have blueprints of what has worked in the past. But I mean... Sure, I'm Afghan. I grew up in Seattle. My friends were like Asian, white, just everything, black. Like, we're just friends with spirits and stuff. We don't really.
What was that like though? Like having white classmates. Was that hard?
It was very hard.
Yeah. Like, so what did they?
I'm not supposed to be this way.
Yeah. Did they,
You think I like talking like this, Jonas? It's a living hell.
the Asians were cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Now the
Where do you
whites.
think I learned how to break dance?
Yeah, the Asians love fucking breakdancing.
There was
They
a
love.
okay, so I was super into breakdancing coming
Right.
up. Like, I would go to Mr. Rags and I would buy this VHS called Battle of the Year, and it was just this breakdancing competition, right? And there was a Rocksteady crew from New York was really big. They were fun to watch, and this shift happened maybe in the late '90s where South Korea started fucking crushing everybody.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, they loved it because they
took
love
it
it.
to outer space.
They love it. It's a passion they have for it.
I love that they take, because they're studious people. They took that to breakdancing and just killed all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that it's only frustrating. Is it tough for blacks?
For a breakdance?
Or are you just
Yeah,
the
how do you
cultural?
feel- how do you feel about
no,
South
we switched
Korea?
because we like karate. We love Bruce Lee.
That's
and
true.
So they took that shit. So we just did a swap real quick.
It's a swap.
Yeah.
That's Jared Harvin. Unfortunately, the studio's not built for the third, and everyone knows it. Jared's like
Yeah, I'm just in the corner sweating. It's okay.
he's on the
Turn up
beanbag.
goddamn ceiling fan in here, please.
And we don't have another camera, so he's here. Jared Harvin. Jared's a very funny stand-up comic. He's 24 years
wow.
old, and I discovered him in a dumpster.
Who books that?
Yeah, I'm helping you get a show in the future.
Yes.
Jared
someday you'll get a
swam
chair.
here. He swam here from Long Island
Yes.
in a shoe with his mother.
He's gonna sell that to Hulu.
Yeah.
That story.
Yeah, no. Black culture. It's amazing. Black culture has like circled the globe.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's the number one.
circled the
Maybe
globe.
Kanye said this, where it's like the number one exporter of culture.
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is like the coolest fucking thing. Now, growing up, did you feel like you're Afghan? Because like in New York, when I was growing up, and believe it or not, I grew up kind of like before all the sensitivity shit, and it wasn't a big deal. Like it wasn't a big deal. Maybe that's because New York is an avant city in that way, but like nobody was like bullied hard for being like, there was jokes about it occasionally in here and there, but there was no like fucking roaming gangs of ethnic who were like picking. It was just like everyone was kind of like, it was so diverse that
Yeah.
it wasn't like an issue. Like I don't think I don't know anyone who's traumatized from their childhood or being teased because of their certain ethnicity or something.
Yeah.
Did you get teased where people like, you're an Afghani?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I'm in the Pacific.
You got to learn how to
Northwest.
lie.
Huh?
You got to just learn how to lie.
Like, how was growing
Yeah.
up Muslim?
Yeah, it was, come on, I'm trying to help you here. Muslim, let me tell
I mean,
you.
it was really hard, man.
When the
I would
white
get- I would get-
supremacists kidnapped you,
They set
and
my
they,
house on fire 3 times.
Yeah.
We had to buy a lot of
Did they
lumber,
sneak
and I had
pork
to put
into
the
your
flames
sandwiches
out.
at school? What did they
They
do?
would sneak pork into there, and I go, "This isn't roast beef," and they go, "You fucking rat this, not."
Yeah.
I thought you would have melted by now.
Growing up Muslim. A lot of Muslim names sound aggressive too. Like Fahim's not how you say it. It's Fahim, right?
Well, people add an extra to
It's Fahim or Hasan. Yeah. That's it. Every time,
Fahim.
like every Afghan or Muslim name just sounds like you're in trouble by your parents. Fahim.
Fahim.
Hasan.
Well, the kha is fun to say, so people like to insert it there
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah.
Because how often do you get to do the khas?
Yeah.
Not often.
Yeah, unless you're Jewish, you don't get to do them.
Yeah, yeah, Hebrew is, there's a lot of, so it's Fahim.
Fahim.
Fahim. Yeah, like my name, the real way you pronounce it is Yannis. Yannis. There's like an I in there, like Yannis.
I guess the real way to say Fahim, like my mom and stuff will be like Fahim.
Failure.
Yeah.
If your mom's saying it, she's going failure.
No, she loves me too much. My dad maybe, but not my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, when you went from engineer to clown, it
Oh,
must have been a
devastated.
weird,
That
awkward
was-
dinner for at least a week.
You know what's
Disappointing.
interesting? Like my dad has never been on board with like what I'm doing. Even when I had successes and shit, like I was in this Tina Fey movie and like I had done some late nights and I had been making a living doing stand up and like I bought a house and shit. Like my dad still didn't really give it up or anything. But then I got this writing job for CBS during the pandemic. And that was like an 8-hour-a-day job. And he understands that.
Right.
So then I saw him turn a little bit. He was like, oh, like how do you write a sitcom? Like he's asking questions about comedy
Right.
that he's never asked He's never
Because you were going into a building doing
he
a
just
job.
likes jobs.
Yeah.
He just likes traditional
Like something where
jobs.
you got to clock in.
Yes, like
You got a time card. I'm with you.
Yeah.
like the break room. He understands. Like I
Yeah.
get free coffee. He understands that.
Yeah, he doesn't want you to be a lady of the night.
Totally.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand.
So you get paid off of Venmo?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's not cool to him. But having a parking spot, going into a building, grabbing your jacket, and leaving the office saying "Bye, guys," he gets that.
Do you have
American
siblings
dream.
or you just,
I have a brother,
And what does your brother do?
dentist. He fucking nailed it.
Yeah, but
he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
dude.
dentist and engineer. I mean, it's like your parents did a good job, and you're a successful, funny comic. So listen, sir, I know you're a big fan of this
my dad's
podcast.
he's a top tier Patreon member. He loves getting the extra eps.
Yeah, you did a great job. Maybe too good of a job because this kid's too honest for this shitty business.
Yeah, I gotta crush some skulls.
No, you're doing great, man. The special's out. You're hilarious. You're funny.
Ditto, man.
Comics
Big
love
fan.
you. Thank you.
I love you too.
And you're also a great dude.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't
thanks.
that a nice combo?
You don't find that.
It is a nice combo. It really is. So people really got to check out this special if you're watching this podcast. And
called Hat Trick? It's on my YouTube. Check out this guy's special. Big fan.
Yeah,
they're
they're the only ones who have, so they have already.
No, it's still going. I'm
It's still
seeing it go
going.
up.
Hopefully it'll go.
I love your firefighter, like the show and tell, or just like the parents coming in. Like I love that bit. Where he's like, I put water
Sean
on
Terry.
fire.
Yeah. Well, that was
It's
actually
such a good impression. You're good at voices and shit and characters. Yeah.
Yeah, there's my career hanging on that. And behind you,
Yo, my weave is at my place.
Yeah.
So I got my wigs too.
my career is right here and right here. These are the relics from my career. It's a little Mr. Panos and a little Maurice. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I used to do shows where I'd have to show up with a duffel bag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those comics who had a duffel bag. So I'd show up and I'd have an outfit. I'd do changes. I did skits.
Yeah.
Yo,
had
you
the
were
same
like-
career path as RuPaul.
Yeah.
You know how there's the mobile windshield fixers?
Yeah.
You were like that for ground lifts?
Yeah.
Like I bring the sketch show to you.
Yeah. It was fun. I'm telling you, those shows were so fun. And when I go to Miami, I still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And next time I go, I'm going to bring Jared so he's half Puerto Rican. It's you'll get some puffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they come
like
out,
Cafe
the Puerto
Bustelo.
Ricans, the Cubans, like because this character got so big with Latins, and
What was the genesis of the character?
the genesis was me and Nate. Like, well, me growing up in New York, I had so many Puerto Rican girlfriends. When you grow up in New York, in Brooklyn, it's like Puerto Ricans, Italians, Jews, Dominicans. It's kind of like it's like your culture. It's like what you grow up in. It's
Yep.
like part of. It's inescapable. Black, of course. It's inescapable, especially black. I mean, fucking. That was what I wanted to be. Was black. I want to be a black person. I get jealous.
You still do.
Yeah,
I
we can
still,
tell that by your sneakers.
yeah. I mean, Sean King is like living my dream, dude. As like a fully realized black man. That's what I want. When I was a kid, if you asked me, I'd be like, that kid is fucking an advocate for black people, and he's white. That would be what I would want to. He's fucking fully living it. Yeah. So, but in New York, it's like that's your thing. That was more my thing than Greek. Like I went to Greek Orthodox Church, but I didn't grow up in like a Greek neighborhood. So most of the Greek aspects of the culture I got from the home, but most of my rearing was in New York. So dating Puerto Rican girls, having so many Puerto Rican girlfriends and stuff like that, it's like I would imitate them and stuff. And then me and Nate Bargatze, actually, ironically, Nate, the most non-New York person, we were doing this dumb live radio show where we had to think of characters. So we were sitting in a diner. And we were thinking of characters, and I just said this line. I was thinking this was 2009 or 10, so this is before trans people were even known. Yeah. But I was aware of them, right? Because I was masturbating to them online. I'm kidding. But like it's a fascinating thing to me. Someone born in the wrong body and stuff like that, and I enjoy that. I love diversity. I love diversity in nature. Right. So it was kind of a cheat code in that I was like, people have done like characters that are women, but nobody's done a trans character. So I was like, and so then I thought about like what and so the one line I said to Nate that started the whole thing was I thought of the name Maurice, and I was like, I just changed it to an A, and I was like, my name's Maurice. I'm from the Lower East Side of New York City. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans there, and I need somebody to. I'm the half-ass doing it, the accent, because I don't want to get in the full character. Put on the wig, like, hold on a second.
That's
all right.
your
Let's do
fears.
it. Yeah, but it was like, my name is Maurice. I'm a transsexual from the Lower East Side. I need somebody to pay for my tits and to not be judgmental about my feet. And because feet are a little bigger. Feet are a little bigger. I wonder, like, when trans women go to the Foot Locker, is still the male section, or nobody has asked? I don't know if you're allowed to ask that question. Yeah. But
they buy jump women's.
So I said that, and Nate laughed. Now Nate doesn't laugh at anything because he's a little psychopathic. So he laughed hard, and I was like, I wasn't really in touch with like. And then I just started doing that character on stage, much like, you do characters on stage, and I sort of built the story. And then me and Jesse shot it after I had worked it on stage for like a couple months. And it was just like, I knew the character. I built the whole story of who she was, what her goals were. She was a former basketball player, which was really funny to me, that she was like this badass fucking bitch who used to like school dudes in basketball, still now does, but just goes down there and fucking in chancletas. And it was just this whole thing. And we shot it in our living room at one of the lowest points in my life. Like, it was really like, I think at that point, my girlfriend was leaving me, who was paying my rent. Remember Amy? She was we were living in a rent-controlled apartment that my buddy grew up in from the Cayman Islands. He wasn't there anymore. The landlord was on to us and trying to kick us out. And I was in a full-blown, here's a funny thing about those Maurice videos. And I've never told anyone, this is something I was in a full-blown panic attack during the filming of that. Like, I was lightheaded and in a full-blown panic attack. But I had known, like, that's because I was just, so many bad things were going on in my life, and also health stuff with my family. But like, my girl left me. The stuff that I'm wearing is her stuff. Yeah. She hadn't picked up her shit yet. So it was like, she had just like moved out. And I'm in a full-blown panic attack, and I just had known the character so well from doing it on stage. I was just kind of going through the motions, and like, and then we shot it. I think a lot of it is it was edited well and whatever, but and then you can't choose what takes. That's the luck part. Like, you just don't. That was like the 60th thing we shot, and Mr. Panos I did before that took off, but with the Greeks, and that was kind of exclusively Greeks until I did one video that took off with like the finance world, and that's where I kind of cashed in on him. But because the Greeks, they the worst. Yeah. Dude, I wish I was fucking Italian. There's just more of them.
Oh yeah,
there's
Sebastian, dude.
Yeah,
crushes it.
And he's of course very funny, but it's like there's just the Greeks. There's like 1 million Greeks in the country. That's it.
Well,
Afghani. You can't go out there.
And I don't even really I don't really have a shtick.
You may be the only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
You don't know what's going to take off, but part of our jobs is just putting it into the universe, and that's part of it. You don't know what the thing is going to be, but we're compelled to create. You do it, and then that's all you can do. Did
you get anything from Lance? Like, because you were in the video,
Bro.
You were in Das Racist video. Yeah. That was my favorite song of theirs, by the way.
Yeah?
I thought that song, and that girl's in it, became an actress. I seen her in other shit.
Norman?
Yeah,
we just know her from the LA comedy scene and stuff, because she would do some UCB stuff. And we were like, hey, do you want to be the love interest in this music video for this Das Racist thing? She's like, oh, yeah. So easy to get her. She's great. She's worked with us before, like Goatface. But this was while Goatface was still trying to make it. None of us had anything really. And then I was a fan of Das Racist. And then Heems and I were Twitter friends. And he was just a fan of my dancing, because sometimes I would just post clips of me dancing. And he just like really liked it. And I go, yo, dude, I would love to just dance for a split second in a Das Racist video. It's always been my dream just to be in a music video for no reason. As a comedian, like, why? Why is this happening? And he goes, you know what? Why don't you guys just do the entire music video for Girl? And I was like, whoa, holy shit. So I went back to the guys and I go, hey, Heem said we can make the entire music video for Girl. So we all were like, all right, let's really do this. Let's make this good.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's actually a really good song.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's called Girl.
Yeah.
You could watch it on YouTube. It's you're awesome in that. The whole video is him as Lance, like dancing, annoying this girl.
Yeah, it's like the whole R&B trope of just following the girl through the city.
Yeah.
Which I always want to do a bit like, how is that acceptable? You're just stalking a woman. Like it's great when you put R&B music, but like Michael Jackson and The Way You Make Me Feel, it's okay to just stalk a woman for
jump on a
20
car,
go
smash somebody's windshield.
the shit you get away with in R&B is insane.
Yeah.
So we're just playing on that trope.
So follow Fahim, and go and watch his special. Go check out Girl. Follow him online. This was a real pleasure. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. It's your podcast now. Take it over.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Long Days with Fahim. This was great.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. What's up, guys? We want to give a special shout out to our most precious Fediverse long haulers, our members, our small business shout outs. Of course, guys, freaking cold spring water. It is freaking cold when it comes out of the fridge. Yeah. It is cold, baby.
When we remember to turn the fridge on.
Yeah, sometimes the fridge is off. So get rid of all your plastics. Don't drink your water out of plastics. This is recyclable aluminum, good for your health and good for the environment. Freaking cold spring water. Doesn't want to just be any water company. It wants to be the water company when it comes to premium water, okay? Sure, Fiji's got good water, but again, it comes in plastic bottles. That's why I do the copy and not you. This is a no-brainer, guys. This is the official water sponsor of Long Days. We have it here in the studio. We drink it every day. Freaking cold spring water. We drink it in my home. So all you got to do is go to freakingcoldspringwater.com and order yourself a couple of cases to your crib and just keep doing it, and you'll be a happy camper. We're also brought to you by my main man, Marge. BrooklynCannery.com. His name is Franche. Him and his wife, they got the best soda company in the world. It is like a miracle. I want you guys to not have health problems. So go drink a ginger beer that has 22 calories and is all naturally flavored, no added sugar, and also has prebiotic features that help your gut. And it tastes delicious. These sodas are amazing. BrooklynCannery.com. Use the promo code Yannis Pappas, all one word, for 15% off your next order. Go order a case. Try all the flavors. We're also brought to you by Nicholas Ragusa. If you want to get LASIK and you live in the New York area, or if you want to travel and get LASIK and you're doing your trip to New York, plan it around your LASIK. Get 10% off your LASIK just mentioning Long Days or Yannis. They know what you're talking about. Okay, go see Nicholas Ragusa at NYC.
No, OC.
Oh, OCNYI. .com.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah, OCNYI.com. Or call 646-543-9474 and have Nicola Ragusa crack open your eyes and clean them out. Longshore Coffee from Providence, Rhode Island, you fucking cocksucker. Promo code FUMES at checkout for 15% off your order. You're getting a little discount with this coffee, and the coffee is absolutely unbelievable. It's the only coffee that I drink now, and I'm really, really appreciative and love Longshore Coffee. They offer premium blends, single origin coffees. They ship nationwide, and if you're local, they offer free local delivery in Rhode Island. So go get your bag of coffee or bags of coffee from Longshore Coffee at longshorecoffee.com. Nate Linda, NateLinder.com. Are you a Greek comedian from Brooklyn that just dropped a fire special and tours across the U.S.? Are you looking to drive more ticket sales and expand your reach? I am. Nate, we're going to call you. We're actually going to call him right now.
This has just been a long con, hasn't it?
Oh,
Nate,
yeah, just to get me in there.
Just to get you.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Looking to sell merch, guys. If you want to up your social media game, go hit up NateLinder.com. Or apparently, I'm talking to myself. He'll help you with your social media management. Everyone needs a guy like this now, no matter what your business is.
Yeah,
so go check out NateLinder.com.
For you, this guy's dedicated to the game.
He's dedicated, dog.
This is an audience of one.
And now we're also brought to you by Chris Minetti Financial Services in South Jersey and Philly. Chris Minetti, You ever want to feel scared while you cash a check? You ever want to feel not so good about the establishment you walk into where you get hand money through a bulletproof glass case? Call Chris at 215-750-3730. The guy's got no website because he doesn't want the IRS to know what he's doing. What do you want me to tell you? Chris Minetti Financial Services. Chris Minetti, 215-750-3730 for the Philly, South Jersey area. And look, if you're really desperate, just drive there. ForTheFree.us is still doing their thing. Organization dedicated to providing artists from Hawaii a place to develop their craft. They host free shows, post free music by local artists. Check out their website, ForTheFree.us, to learn about all types of bands going on in Hawaii.
Sir.
Check it out. And then we got 305 PLP Media Services. Can someone hire these guys and tell me how they are? Okay? They will do everything for you. Come film it, edit it, produce it. You need a video. You need content. You need creative services. Hit up 305 PLP Media Services. They're in Miami. Info at 305plp.com. You can text them at 786-548-2274. And check out their Vimeo at /305PLP. And then, of course, exclusiveautoshipping.com. If you're moving your car anywhere in the country and you want to move your wheels, hit up exclusiveautoshipping.com for your free quote today.
It's been a